Egyptian Space Agency, the Satellite City Industrialization and Assembly Center, is set in cooperation with China. The Egyptian Space Agency was established in 2018 to coordinate the efforts of various scientific bodies concerned with studying outer space and satellite technology, promoting Egypt's development and protecting its national security. A satellite assembly and testing center will be inaugurated in September of the year 2022 in the International Space City to be the first center of its kind in the Arab world. It is planned to also produce pure Egyptian satellites for purposes related to development in Egypt and Africa, as well as scientific research. And in this context, dear viewers, we have with us Engineer Ahmed Youssef, Head of Construction Committee, to tell us more about my introduction. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today from such a wonderful place like the Egyptian Space Agency.
First of all, I would like to welcome you in Egyptian Space City. The Egyptian Space City occupies about 123 acres in lies Cairo. It is on altitude of 340 meters above the sea level. The built over area is supposed to be about 20% of all the area. The rest will be landscape and green areas. There are 21 buildings supposed to be built in the Egyptian Space City. 3 of them already completed. One of them is the one behind us right now, the Space Operations Center. Also, the Assembly and Test Center has been finished by a percentage of 90%. As you said, it will be fully ready about the next year, yes. Also, the power has been completed, which supply the whole city with power. There are 8 buildings are established right now under construction, varying degrees. Most of these buildings are the most of them is the headquarters of the Egyptian Space Agency, the African Space Agency, the security accommodation building, the administrative building for the assembly and integration testing building, also the administrative building, and later on we'll start for the other buildings.
There seems to be a big jump in terms of development, because we had a program in the past 20 years for the space development program here in Egypt, and now we have an Egyptian Space Agency and an Egyptian Space City with cooperation or with the presence of the African Space Agency as well here in Egypt. How do you see those steps in such a short space of time?
Choice of Egypt to host the African Space Agency reflects the importance of Egypt, confidence of the African of Egyptian leadership. One of the most important roles and one of the most important axes of the strategy Africa 2063 is protecting the outer space of African countries. And this will be done by the cooperation of the different African countries. It will be held by operating in building satellites, African satellites, and launching them. Also in building ground space station and data reception station. Also the building of the assembly, integration, and testing centers. In addition, of course, to the experience exchange between the different countries and the capacity building for them.
A satellite assembly and testing center will be inaugurated in September of the year 2022 in the International Space City to be the first center of its kind in the Arab world, sir. It is planned to also produce pure Egyptian satellites for the purposes related to development in Egypt and Africa, as well as a scientific research. Your motto, sir.
The Assembly and Integration and Testing Center here in here in Egyptian Space City is built over about 5,000 square meters. Its role is to assembly and integration for the various parts of the satellite and making the testing for it to get sure that it is compatible with the space environment. Kind of tests done in this center, like the mechanical tests to qualify the subsystems of the satellite to put on the launcher. Also the environmental tests which imitate the space environment, okay, from pressure, from humidity, from temperature. All these procedures, the satellite go through it to get sure that it will be in good manner in the space.
The satellite assembly and the center of it will be having benefits for the Egyptian territory, for Africa as well. What are the main benefits for Egypt and for Africa from having such a center and from having the Egyptian Space Agency as well?
The main, the profit concentrate in, of course, in an economical base, like it is delivering the photos or the images of the Egypt territory. These images help the decision maker in making such decisions in a certain time and in suitable time. It helps us in the developing of the coast, in the agriculture, even in the development of the urban areas.
So, sir, it helps to contribute to our economy and make us economically more stable and stronger, of course, as a country. Okay, it enhances our economy. What are the objectives of the African Space Agency that will be established, and how far has it been accomplished till now?
The African Space Agency, the building, it's built over area about 3,700 square meter. 80% of the concrete work have been finished, and the rest will be finished by the end of the year. It should be delivered by the end of the year, fully equipped and furnished. Important role of the African Space Agency is the protecting of the outer space of the African countries. And this is one of the strategies of Africa 2063.
You've been in this sector for so long. How does it feel to be having the support and the backing of the political leadership under President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, that there is an Egyptian space agency, there is an Egyptian space city, an African space city? It is all happening at the same time in the space of 3 or 4 years.
We have all the support from the political leader of Egypt, of course. We have full support. There are the laws established the last 2 or 3 years, and the decisions made are very helpful for us, which helped us in improving our equipments, even buying equipments used in this space industry and technology. We have the full support from the leadership of Egypt.
Okay, sir, the headquarters here, of course, of the African Space Agency is now being established in the International Space City at a $10 million budget.
Yes,
Tell us more
right.
about this, sir.
As I told you, now we finished the concrete works of this building. 80% of it had been finished, and by the end of the year we will be delivering this building fully furnished and equipped.
Yes, Engineer Ahmed Youssef, the head of the construction committee at the Egyptian Space Agency. Thank you very much for being with us today on Nile Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. It was a pleasure, of course, and we hope to see you again. Dear viewers, this is this segment of Nile Cruise. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.